The Church Report. Da, 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 da.
What's your opinion on the church methods of teaching?
The church methods of teaching, I think, is okay. It's a little outdated. You could make it more modern, but otherwise, it's fine. It gets the message across.
Okay. How do you view people who identify as spiritual but not religious?
I mean, they can identify with what they want to identify as. You don't have to force them. In religion, it doesn't tell you you have to follow the religion, but you can still be spiritual. So you don't really have to discriminate that way.
How do you think Jesus is represented in the Catholic Church?
Jesus is represented in the church like Almighty and like God's Son and a whole bunch of other things that's like very powerful. And we don't really know if it's true, but since we follow the religion and spiritually we believe it's true, so I guess it's true.
Could someone follow the teachings of the church without being explicitly Catholic?
They could follow the teachings of the church. It's not, they don't say that you have to specifically be Catholic to follow it. You can be, atheist and still believe in it.
How is Jesus presented in your life?
Jesus was present in my life when I was present now or present
In your life in general?
Jesus was present probably a few years ago with my dad. He was still around and he was being mean, and I ended up praying to him so he would be less mean.
And how do you live out the church teachings?
Go to mass and altar serve. That's about it.
Thank you. Okay. What's your opinion on the church methods of teaching?
I think the church does a very good job teaching, and every time there's mass, I love listening to it.
Okay. How do you view people who identify as spiritual but not religious?
I think that's fine because a religion is something that you are, and however you want to practice it, I think is.
Here is the quote that goes with that last interview. So here's the quote. Bloop.
How do you think Jesus is represented in the Catholic Church?
I think he is represented as everything because he just.
Good answer. Could you follow the teachings of the church without being explicitly Catholic?
Yes, you can do kind acts and little things that make people happy. So.
How is Jesus presented in your life?
Wow, everything I do, it all ties back to him. Every little.
And how do you live out what the church teaches?
I always keep what I hear at Mass and what I do in the back of my mind, and I always put it into play on what I'm doing in the moment.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Cut here. What's your opinion on the church's methods of teaching?
I think the methods of teaching are good. I'd like to see some day-to-day real stuff put into the methods.
How do you view people who identify as spiritual but not religious?
I identify them fine. Spiritual is wonderful. I mean, both would probably be better.
Okay. How do you think Jesus is represented in the Catholic Church?
He is represented as who we praise to, who we pray to, who we look up to and live our daily life to.
Good.
Here's the quote that goes with that one interview. Just here's the quote. Bloop.
Could someone follow the teachings of the church without being explicitly Catholic?
I believe yes, they can.
How is Jesus presented in your life?
He's presented in my life daily through prayer and worshiping the Ten Commandments
how do you live out what the Catholic Church teaches?
Well, I live the life of what the Catholic Church teaches, and I teach that to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Today I learned that in our interview questions that some people had a more direct standing of faith and certain morals and like with the Catholic Church than others who are more spiritual and wanna, fly through and like float around and just like, go with the flow. I personally, believe that faith comes in many different forms, so to each his own, and God sees us if we truly love him, and I think that I was surprised I was actually surprised when my mother actually when she answered saying that Jesus was what we praised in the Catholic Church. And I believe that yes, Jesus is what we praise, but he's only a figure for us to relate to. So that's what surprised me. And
from the interviews that we did, I learned that some people are more serious than others about their religion. A lot of people have different ideas of what it means to be strictly religious, and religion as a whole is, generally in most of its forms pretty well liked. Some responses, they were a little more directed towards, a spiritual, less rigid religious life, while others were, a little more, they emphasized following what the church taught and, listening to those rules. And I was really surprised that nobody had any big major problems with any sort of religious organizations like the Catholic Church or anything like that.